Unicorn TV is brought to you by Symetria. Symetria offers ongoing liquidity management to attract and retain the best talents. Give your team the benefit they desire and deserve and win the competition over talents with Symetria. And we're back with Amiti Ventures, one of the leading early-stage venture capital firms in Israel. It has successfully seeded and scaled some of Israel's major tech companies, including Vayyar, Next Silicon, Innoviz, and Cycognito, and many more. Joining us now in the studio with more is Ben Rabinowitz, founder and managing partner of Amiti Ventures. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So my first question to you is, can you share perhaps about your investment strategy?
Sure. So basically our strategy is we're always looking for the best team for the mission. So regardless of the fact that we're focused on Israel, we're looking at it from a global perspective. If we match this team against any other team that was starting in this particular area, is this the best team? And usually, since we're investing at seed, when they're just starting, it's usually that it's the technology advantage, some ingenuity that they have. And after that, we look, is the market big? Is it being disrupted? Is the timing right? Are there a lot of customers, a lot of potential buyers of the companies, things like that. But the team is number one, and then we quickly then shift to the market and see if it's ready for disruption.
And we see a recent downturn in the markets. Some people say we're heading for a recession or stagflation. From your perspective, how does this affect the market or the risk appetite by VC firms like yourself?
So first of all, it's a good time to be an investor because in terms of first money coming in, valuations are lower. The time needed to actually do the due diligence and make the investment decision is longer now. So all that is advantageous. The other thing that we've seen is actually it's not so bad. Our companies, our more mature companies, are raising money. We've done a lot of follow-on rounds since April. So even in the last 30 days, we've had companies do really nice rounds, nice valuations, big up rounds for us. So I think the bottom line is if you're a category leader, if you're a true leader in your market and you've got some real advantage, sustainable advantage, you can raise money and you can still get good valuations. If you're a mediocre company or not one of the best, then in 2021, it was a great year because you could still raise money. This year, it's much tougher. So that's good.
Lidar mentioned before Vayyar. What is the segment exactly that we know Vayyar because we interviewed them earlier in the show. So we'd like to know what's the specific area which you invest in?
Right. So one of the things that I think mistakes that VCs make is that you actually have to kind of reinvent yourself every time you do a new fund. Because if we're really going to be leading edge, you have to always look at what's the new leading edge. So when Amiti started, which was at the end of 2010, we saw great opportunities in the semiconductor area. And then after that, we saw automotive start to get really interesting. And that's where you saw investments like Innoviz and Vayyar, of course, plays there. Valens plays there. Autotalk, some of our other investments. And from there, we got interested. Also, then we saw, not just the cloud, but high-performance computing starting to take off. So we made investments there. And then when we got to our third fund, we saw that software is going from being monolithic to being broken up into small pieces, into microservices, and that it was going to require a bunch of new tools, a bunch of new cybersecurity requirements. So we invested there, as well as seeing that AI and machine learning were taking off. And now we're in our fourth fund, and we see quantum computing, synthetic bio, a lot of the revolution that's happening in biology over the last few years is really advantageous to take advantage of. So that's kind of how we've shifted over the years.
What are some of the companies that you've invested in that are working in these fields?
So we just recently did our first significant quantum computing investment. And in high-performance computing in the previous fund, we did Next Silicon. So these are areas that when we think of what's going to change the world the most by the time we get to 2030, definitely compute is going to play a very big role. We're going to be able to answer questions that we can't answer today. We're going to solve issues or start resolving issues in climate change and energy, sustainability based on what we're going to learn from these different, by leveraging the compute companies that we're investing in today. When we look at biology, we see that from all the changes that have happened over the last 10 years with CRISPR and Cas9 and basically all the things that helped us deal with COVID and medicines there will affect the entire supply chain. So not just medical, not just food and agriculture, but everything that comes out of the ground to be able to create in a lab will change supply chains dramatically across many industries. So So those are the things that are, that are exciting.
There's like a huge difference, between countries that have those technology, AI, quantum computing, cybersecurity, companies that haven't developed it yet, and that gap is only going to get wider. And
Yep. Yeah. So when I look at quantum computing, for example, I view it as it's kind of like the nuclear race of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, right? There's going to be 5 or 6 countries that are going to lead in quantum computing, and Israel must be there.
So Israel must be a leader in this field. Ben Rabinowitz, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you, Ben.